What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out one of the latest electric scooters from iScooter. The one that we have here today is the iX5 model. This is an electric scooter that's powered by an 800 watt motor that's in the rear wheel here. We also have dual suspension, so we have suspension on the front and on the back. We have 10-inch inflatable tires. We also have mechanical disc brakes on the front and on the back, and this scooter has a top speed of about 45 kilometers an hour. But we'll talk more about that later on in the video. Let's start by doing a bit of an unboxing just so I can show you how the scooter comes packed in the box and what you have to do to get this ready and on the road. Okay, so this comes in a fairly small box for an electric scooter, and inside the box the scooter is pretty much assembled. All you have to do is tighten up the screws for the speedometer here, for the brake levers. So the scooter is pretty much ready to go out of the box, and you should have it ready and on the road in about 10 minutes. Now, this scooter also comes with a seat, but as you see it right here, I have removed the seat. I'm not a fan of scooters that have a seat, but in case you want to sit down and ride the scooter, yes, there is a seat that comes in the box, and the seat is actually pre-installed. Well, part of the seat assembly is pre-installed, but I removed mine and I haven't actually used this scooter with a seat. This scooter weighs 25 kilos, so not the heaviest scooter out there, not the lightest, but heavy enough that you're not going to be able to carry it for long periods of time. This is also a folding scooter, and this folds in a couple of ways. So we have one of the folding mechanisms right here. So if you want to fold it, you basically pull on this red thing and then it folds like this. We also have a couple of wheels here that will make it easier to carry this when folded. I'm gonna set it back to the normal unfolded state. We have the kickstand right here. This is made out of metal. It's not the sturdiest kickstand out there, but it works fairly good, I'm gonna say. And the second folding part of this scooter are the handlebars. So if you pull this like this, the handlebars will fold. Now, when you have so many folding parts, you're also going to introduce some movement. So I'm not a fan that the handlebar here kind of shakes, moves, so not ideal in my opinion. You can also adjust this in height, so this goes lower or higher. This also makes sense if you're using the seat, because if you're using the seat, you probably want the handlebar a bit lower. But if you're riding this as a regular scooter, maybe it makes sense to have it a bit higher. But as I said, so many folding elements bring a lot of play into the handlebar, and I'm not a fan of that. On the front and on the back, we have 10-inch inflatable tires, and of course having inflatable tires will also add to the scooter's comfort whenever you are riding, because those tires will soak up the bumps in the road. We also have a bit of off-roady profile for those tires, so sure, you can do a bit of off-roading with this scooter as well. Now, you've probably noticed by now that we have a front and rear suspension. Personally, I'm not a fan of this type of suspension that we have on the front here, the shock that we have on the front here, mostly because it does make a bit of noise when you're going over uneven terrain, over rocks and stuff like that. It does make a bit of noise, as you can probably hear right now. So I'm not the biggest fan of this kind of setup for a suspension. However, the suspension on the front and on the back does help to improve the comfort when riding. We also have mechanical disc brakes on the front and on the back, and unlike many other scooters that I've tried in the past, these ones don't seem to make any noise when braking. So pretty decent brakes for this particular scooter compared to a lot of other scooters that I've tried in the past. The braking power from these mechanical brakes is also really good, so I don't actually feel the need with this scooter for hydraulic brakes, as the case is with other scooters. So pretty decent brakes on this one. The scooter is powered by an 800 watt motor that's in the rear wheel here, and we also have the battery pack right here, so you're basically standing on top of the battery pack. Now, the platform that you have here is wide enough so you can fit both your feet, and we also have some kind of non-slip material on top of this. So yes, even if it rains, even if it's wet out, you shouldn't slip for this. Now, on one charge, the manufacturer says that you can get about 45 kilometers of range. From my testing, you can get between 25 and 30 kilometers on one charge. And I guess that's not too bad for an electric scooter. As for power, well, let's talk about the top speed first. So the top speed for this scooter, according to the manufacturer, is 45 kilometers an hour. Now, I'm sure that you can reach that speed if you're a bit lighter than me. Personally, the top speed that I got on this scooter is 37 kilometers an hour. But if you're a bit lighter, yes, there is a good chance that you're going to be able to ride at 45 kilometers an hour. But keep in mind that the speed limit in most countries for these scooters is 25 kilometers an hour. As for power delivery, well, if you're riding on a flat surface, yes, the scooter will pick up speed fairly quick. However, if you do have an incline, if you're riding on a hill or something like that, the scooter has pretty much no power whatsoever. So if you do have a lot of hills wherever you live, I do not recommend getting this scooter because it literally has no power going up the hill. Now, I'm not sure if you can see how hilly this place is, but it's pretty much impossible to ride this scooter up this hill. So kind of disappointing that an 800-watt motor doesn't have enough power to actually take you on any steeper inclines. Alright, so next we have a super quick hill climbing test. You can basically see the hill from there. I'm hoping that you can hear me as well. I'm not sure if my microphone works, but I'll basically head towards the camera and I'll show you where the scooter basically stops on this hill. So full acceleration. And it's slowing down, and it's really slowing down, full acceleration as well. So it's gonna stop somewhere around here. So hill climbing is definitely not great on this scooter. On the front and on the back we also have plastic mud guards, so if you're riding this scooter on a wet surface you shouldn't get all that dirt onto you. On the front and on the back we also have lights, so we have the headlight on the front. This is bright enough to be seen during the day and super bright at night as well. And the rear light, well, you can still see that during the day, but of course not as good, and that also acts as a brake light. So next we're moving up to the handlebar. So the handlebar is wide enough, so you're fairly comfortable, but as I said earlier, there is a lot of movement here, so I'm not a fan of that. We have the plastic brake levers here. The grips don't seem to move in any way. On the left hand side here we have some buttons. One of them is the horn. That's how it sounds, so it is pretty loud. We also have the switch for the lights. You can turn them on and off. We have the ignition lock here, so you cannot start the scooter without the key. That's definitely a good thing. And then we have the screen and the accelerator here. Unfortunately, the screen is very hard to be seen if it's bright out. If you're riding at night, no problem whatsoever, but during the day, it's pretty much impossible to see that screen. Okay, so let me quickly show you how you ride this scooter. So you basically put the ignition key on, then you hold the power button pressed for about 3 seconds, and then the screen comes on. And of course, from the mode button here, you can switch gears, but we're gonna go in gear number 3. So to accelerate, you just press this button here. So let's do that. I'm also gonna show you a quick brake test from 25 kilometers an hour, so we'll brake now. So you can easily lock those wheels if you pull on those levers hard enough. We have a bit of a hill here, so the acceleration isn't great uphill. We'll keep going. We have some sand here, so we're gonna slow down and we'll accelerate. So pretty good pickup for this scooter on a flat surface. And brake test. So yeah, that easy to ride this scooter. So to quickly conclude this video, the scooter does look a bit different than most other scooters out there. It's also nice to have a front and rear suspension and also disc brakes on the front and on the back. As I mentioned earlier, the braking power from this scooter is really good and the ride is fairly comfortable. Not to mention that you do have that seat in case you want to sit down whenever you're riding the scooter. Now, the 800-watt motor that we have is pretty disappointing if you're going on any type of an incline, and I'm not a fan of the crazy movement that we get from the handlebar. So there you have it. This is the iScooter iX5. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.